Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to CSGB Racing Round 8. Tonight we are at France, and I believe I've just lost all game audio, so that's not ideal. But I do hope everyone is well, and I am looking forward to Round 8. Bit of a mess last time out at Austria, should I say. A few incidences to look out for, and that has ended with a few people not attending today for some reasons or others. So we do have a few drivers filling in for drivers who are absent, and I'll run you through them when we get into the paddocks. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a very tightly contested round 8. The championship is slowly tightening up, and I don't think Netsy's going to run away with it this season. So do get ready for some incredible action, and I believe this qualifying session will be very close. Obviously, the chance of rain is always present here at France. So don't take that out of the equation. It's been a while since we've had rain, but it looks like the qualifying is all clear and we will be ready to go at the Paul Ricard circuit. And let's get your telemetries up and take a look at the track data. So let me quickly run you through who we do have taking new seats and filling in. So currently, for the Mercedes team, we have 2 new drivers today. For the Mercedes, 1 reserve and 1 new driver. So Fetbass, currently 19th on the grid there, you see him in the Mercedes. He will be taking the open, should I say, Mercedes seat. So he is a brand new full-time driver for Mercedes. And we have Sir Quinniff, should I say. We'll just call him Quinniff. He will be taking the reserve today and filling in. Also, we have a change at Alfa Romeo. So we have Hex Bentz, who I do believe is in the lobby. Yes, he is. We're currently in 14th. He is taking the place of Oscar Sandblom, who has dropped down to a reserve. So there are current drivers. We do have 2 F2 drivers in the second tier of CSGB Racing, taking both Williams seats, as both of those drivers are not available this evening. So, a few changes here and there, and let's jump on board with the first driver out the pit lane. It is Isaac Racer, the man who's been here for 2 rounds now and put a very good showing for us. But now it's time to allow the drivers to take out their first lap, and let's have a look at some of the race information for today's race at France.
The circuit Paul Ricard then, a 3.6 mile track, 25 miles east of Marseille. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, with the main overtaking chance expected going into turn 8. Top speeds today should be around 205 miles per hour.
So here we have then the Drivers' Championships as they currently stand. The top 15 drivers, as you can see, very close on your right-hand side. Netsky's still leading the way, but he has severely dropped off, or been caught in the last few races. Since Silly Sly Guy has come in, Kieran Humphreys has taken 5 wins in his last 6 races with 1 second place. So not a terrible performance there from him. Literally his lowest performance has been in 3rd position. We'll take a look at the driver standings then. Rappel also closing the gap as well on the other drivers. Here are the drivers still. Here is the team standings for you. Alpha Atari leading the way, and Renault in 2nd. So the Sly Guys help pushing up the table. So it's going to closing as well. Alfa Romeo keeping it nice and tight in that 3rd place position, and with other teams bringing up the rear. Aston Martin could really do with a result today. But as we go back to the racing, Isaac Racer has just started his lap, so he will be the first man out. The McLaren driver, the new McLaren driver, his teammate Jay Prentice, currently on his out lap on the medium size, but riding on board with Isaac, we see he's on the soft compound as he brings it round turn 4 and 5. Very easy to lose traction on the rear as he exits that corner, but he keeps it nicely on the throttle as we come down the first DRS zone towards a hard braking zone for turn 8 and 9. And he closes the back wing and keeps it there or thereabouts on the inside curb, and takes a little bit of the exit curb and that one too, as he runs it now down to the very fast flat out right-hander, especially in these conditions. Here he comes and taking it flat, setting purple sectors as you'd expect, as Noah gets out of the way nicely here as he keeps it in 8th gear and knocks it down a few gears. Will he change up to 5th on the exit? No, he keeps it in 4th until we come to this very tricky turn at 12. And And you've got to be careful of that curve because you can spin there. As you see, a little bit correction on the steering wheel, but he just about keeps it in the corner. And as he comes around now for the final few corners, he'll be taking this sweeping right-hander before you open it up to take it to the line. And the first lap time is going to be set by Isaac, and he sets a very respectable 1:28. Who was going to be next to cross the line? It was City Sly Guy, and he goes a pole position as you'd expect, and Netsky overtakes him. So the top two of the championship battling it out on the scoreboard as well. As now Noah Jones is about to start his lap. Any more drivers coming to the line? Tryby is, but he's invalidated, unfortunately. And Jay Prentice is just about to start his lap as well. Do any drivers fly into the line? We have Fetbas here on his debut. Let's see what he can set then. The Mercedes driver, the new Mercedes driver, goes 4th place. So a good, respectable first qualifying session for him. The car behind taking a lap will be Magsy. And he is in 3rd position. So a good job for the Racing Point driver. And Bowers behind goes into 8th place. So we'll be happy with that one. Ryder Dahl then coming to the line. Puts himself right behind his teammate in 3rd place. A good job, well done from him. While the other Racing Point, another AlphaTauri to say, is Rain Man coming to the line. And he crosses his place in 8th place for the time being. We have Heck Spence coming to the line, but he is invalidated, so he will be going out again, I'm sure. We have a Williams coming to the line. Is that McGamer? No, it will be Dax. He is on his outlap, so we'll not be staying on board with him. Jay Prentice has invalidated on his lap. Let's see where Noah Jones is. So Noah Jones is coming to the line now. The young Welsh driver repping the Ferrari. Can he get up alongside his teammate in a top 10 position? Let's see then as he brings it to the line. DRS open. Looking to go further to the right-hand side. And he puts in a lap time good enough for 5th position. So a good job from the Welshman. And he respectively sits himself at the table. Mercedes coming through then. It's not Sir Gwyneth. There is a... is anyone else on a flying lap? We'll take a look. I don't think there is. Jay Prentice may be on a 2nd attempt. Peter is on a lap. The F2 driver taking the Williams seat tonight. He is looking to put his name amongst the big dogs here in CSGB, and it's a good experience for one of the drivers in the 2nd tier of racing. But he has a lot of pace about him, and hopefully he can show that today and compete with some of the big guys here in France. Here comes Peter then to the line. Everyone choosing to the soft tyres, it seems, to try and do a soft hard strategy maybe, or a soft medium soft. And Peter puts himself above 2 of the drivers, and he's in 10th place, so a respectable lap there from Dax. But he is still 2.2 seconds off the leader, which is quite incredible. Quite incredible lap from Netsky there, but a lot of competition. I'm sure we will see more of that over the coming laps ahead. James W's on his outlap. Tryby is just starting his outlap as well. And we're just trying to find someone who's on a fly lap or close to the end of their... We have a Racing Point rounding the final corner. That may be Wizzy looking to start up his first lap, and he is. So we'll stay on board with the Racing Point driver to see if he can get himself up the leaderboards. I'm sure he'll be hoping to push his team up there, and hopefully he can get the best out of that pink car. He flings it in there nice and tightly into turn number 3. 4 and 5 follow, and it's very easy to invalidate on the exit here. This is very easy to slip. It's a very slippery corner, these two as well, as he comes up to the DRS straight now. Purple in sector 1, so nicely done from Jay Wizzy. A couple of drivers have changed their gamer tags, if you're unaware. Get a toe there, nice help from his teammate. And Magsy dragging him along nicely, so the Racing Point boys have timed that very nicely indeed. That'll help a lot as he comes up to the exit of turn 8 and 9. Hard on the power then as he opens the DRS wing with another purple sector flashing there, but it didn't stay for long, so maybe that's just a glitch on my end. But here he is then, coming up to turn number 11. Fling it in, long, trying to find the exit, trying to find the outside curb as to turn 11 and 12 quickly disappear and 13 arrives. You can ride a lot of the curb on the inside there, but it is offering a lot of slippery surfaces, is that curb. But as he comes up now to the final corner, he takes it easy on the throttle and then floors it, pins it in and opens the DRS and hopes that he can go and join his teammate up the leaderboard, and he does, right behind him, and they're only separated by 0.03 of a second, so top stuff from the Racing Point pair, and they're pushing themselves up the order. Sly Guy is on a flying lap now, so stay on board with the title challenger he is at the moment. And the man, if he continues to form, will quite easily pick up the trophy ahead of Netsky, but he's got to do quite a lot of time gaining if he wants to unsettle the AlphaTauri at the top of the leaderboard at the minute. But here he comes then, Sly Guy, keep it consistent throughout his time in CSGB. Flings it in, purple sector 2. We see a few cars jumping around. We'll catch up with the leaderboard after we see this lap. We'll stay on board with Sly Guy to see what he can do. Netsky is also on a lap now as well. One of Mercedes getting out of the way, so that's good to see. So Rappel goes in 6th place only he can manage, as you saw there, jumped up with a 28 dead. But here comes Sly Guy then, round the final turn. Keeps it nice and pinned and gets the throttle down very early there. That just shows a difference in some of the drivers. And can he go on to pole position? You bet he can, just about. And Sly Guy takes provisional pole with 7 minutes remaining of the qualifying session. We have a Ferrari coming to the line, do we? We do, and it is Bowers. Will he improve? He does. Only one position though. So he's up to 15th for the Ferrari driver. Your F2 commentator puts it in 15th place, so not a bad lap. Matt has just crossed the line. 3/10 improvement for him, and he's in 10th place as we speak. Noah Jones has just put himself up the leaderboard too. Did he? Was that Noah Jones crossing the line, or was that that would have been Hexbence, should I say, putting himself up the leaderboard? So he is 11th place. Good job from him. Ryder is coming to the line now as well. Will he improve? He does by 0.3 of a second, so he puts himself a little bit closer, but I've missed out on a big development in the qualifying session, and Netsky has put himself in 1st place into the 126s, and that's 0.3 quicker than City Sly Guy, so that's a great job from the championship leader. I was just trying to jump aboard with Rainman there, and he improves by 0.3 as well, so the AlphaTauri is just getting quicker, but only 11th place for Sly Guy. Jay Prentice will be coming across the line now, I imagine, to set his first lap of this quali session. Only him and McGamer left to do so, but it will only just be the Williams driver left now, as Prentice puts himself in 13th place, so I'm pretty sure he'll be fairly happy with that one. We have McGamer coming to the line now. No, we just started the lap. I think that's the other Williams of Dax. Peter, he's starting a lap as well. The next person towards the finish line. It's not Hex. Will it be Vapor Matt? No, it will not. It will be no one. We'll have to try and find the next person to cross the line who's on a flying lap. There is an AlphaTauri going relatively slowly, letting a Racing Point pass, but he's not on the flying lap either. McGamer is on a lap, but he is invalidated, as has the other F2 driver in the Williams. Trying to put some practice in today, but he is on a invalidation lap. So unfortunately for him, he's going to have to go again. But we'll stay on board with Maxi again, as he's the first person coming across the line to start another flying lap here at the Paul Ricard circuit in the sunshine. Tribe needs to be careful coming out of the pit lane there, and he is. So a good job from Tribe, staying out of the way. We don't want any unnecessary accidents like we did last time out at Austria. But good awareness from Tribe just to let the Racing Point through. But as we come through turns 3, 4 and 5, Magsy keeps it nice and stable at rear end, not really going anywhere. As he sets a purple sector 1, so looking quick from the Racing Point driver as he comes up to the DRS straight now. And he'll be flying down there in 8th gear at touching speeds of well over 200 miles an hour as he approaches turns 8 and 9. Hard on the brakes and left to right as he swings it around the inside curve, and he does take the quickest line through there, so a good job from Magsy looking to try and improve. Not all the curb on the entry on the outside, but he takes the shortest line possible, as this is flat and a hard braking, so easy to lock up there for those drivers that are using the anti-lock brakes. And he flinged it now around into turn 12. Easy to lose it there if you take the wrong line, but he's kept the right line. His fuel light is flashing, so he'll be running quite a low fuel limit. But any fuel was allowed in the qualifying session. The DRS opens for the final time on the lap, and it looks like he's up on his time. He's definitely improved. Has he improved enough? He has improved by 1.3 tenths, but that's not going to push him up there with the challenges for the podium positions currently, or the pole position. And Netsky currently in a league of his own up there in the 126s. Isaac Racer is on a flying lap. Who else will be? Staying on board with Isaac. I believe Eklund's coming to line as well, so we'll just catch an eye on the scorecard, see where he goes. And he does go 12th place, so a decent lap there from the Alfa Romeo driver, and he puts himself in 12th place, Eklund. But we'll see what Isaac can, see if he can improve. 1/10 improvement will put him in 6th place, but Rappel is about to start another lap too. 2 minutes left then here in France. Let's see where Isaac can put himself. Yellow flag's currently in sector 2, but that's just drivers letting each other past. Around the final turn, a little bit of a lock up there from the McLaren, but he seems to have got the power down nice and early and kept his ERS in hand. He improves just a little bit, and that is not good enough to go above Rappel. So Isaac stays in 7th place, and I believe that probably is his qualifying session over. Hex then is on a flying lap. Jay Prentice is the first driver to call it a day. So he is out of this qualifying session. Tryby is on a flying lap, 3 tenths up then. As we jump to him, he will be coming to the line now. The Red Bull driver, a little bit tentative out of the last quarter there it seemed. Hopefully he hasn't lost too much time to try and make himself improve. And he does improve by 1.5 tenths, but that's not good enough to get him off the bottom of the leaderboard. He's well at the bottom is Tryby, unfortunately for himself, but yeah, he is staying there, I think. Noah then had a good start to his lap by the looks of things. Who else is on a flying lap? We have Rappel. Where is Rappel on the circuit? He has just started his lap, so we'll come back to him in a minute or two's time. Sly Guy is also starting his lap and setting purple sectors. Noah Jones then's flying. A lot of cars on their outlaps in a minute. Is Sir Quinniff close to the line? No, he's just starting it, so we'll stay on board with Noah to see what time he can set as he comes to the line with 18 seconds. The clock just about to tick down, so these will be the final times and the final people coming to the line. The Alpha Tari needs to hurry up if he wants to complete his outlap. And here comes Noah then to the line. He improves, does he? He does by 3 tenths and 5th place for Noah. Great job there for him. He's done a great job getting himself there on the scorecard, so good stuff from him. Here comes Sly Guy then, the man who wants to challenge for pole position. Didn't look like he was enough up on that split time. But here he comes then, the Renault, the man who's taken 5 of the last 6 wins here in the F1 division. He comes to the line, can he take pole position? Not tonight, I'm afraid, silly. But he takes second, and Netsky should keep his pole position as Rappel's just crossed the line and gone 4th place, knocking the drivers down behind him. We should have Jay Prentice now, James Dovey, sorry, coming to the line. And the Red Bull driver does improve to 12th place, and I'm sure he'll be quite content starting on the medium tyres. Unfortunately, the car behind is going to be invalid, and Hex Bent is in 14th place. We have Ryder Dahl then, the Renault teammate of Silly Sligo, come to line, but he has invalidated. Next up will be Vapor Matt to take a trip to the checkered flag. Let's see where he can put himself. Right behind him will be Vapor Wizzy, so we'll quickly jump back as he improves slightly. Does Wizzy improve as well? He does by 3 tenths, and he goes 4th place. Good job from the Racing Points here. They've put a Rappel in a Racing Point sandwich, so hopefully they can try and make his day uncomfortable. Number 9 currently, and he improves, and Fetbass on his debut goes into P8. So not a bad job there from the Mercedes driver. I believe we have Rainman now, who has jumped into the pit lane. And that is that then for today's qualifying session. And Netsky takes pole position. It's been a couple of weeks. It's a couple of races since he's been on pole position. But the young Swede has taken it. The only man in the 126s, and that is a ridiculous lap from him. He'll be very happy with that. Sly Guy is in second, and a very competitive field all the way through. Down to Tribe, who is at the back of the grid. A fair bit of time behind, but I'm sure he'll try and recover to try and get a better lap in. But for now, let's take you through the final standings. And we have Netsky taking pole. He's back on top where he wants to be, your championship leader. Second place is Sly Guy. So currently P1 and 2 in the championship are P1 and 2 here on the grid. Ryder Dahl then in the Renault taking third. Vapor Wizzy is in 4th. Rappel 5th with Magsy in 6th. Noah Jones puts himself in 7th place. And Fetbass on his debut is in 8th. Isaac Racer, fellow Swedish driver, is 9th for McLaren, and Vapor Matt takes 10th. Rainman is 11th. Dovey is in 12th. Eklund is in 13th. Hex Spence on his debut is in 14th. Jay Prentice is in 15th. McGamer down up from the F2 division is in 16th. Sir Quinniff on his debut is in 17th. Bowers, Peter and Tribe are there to the back, the bottom 3, but it's a tight field all the way through. You can see the split times as we go through are quite equidistant, so I will be expecting some good battles today here in CSGB Racing F1. See if I've got any shouts for the weather, see if I've been told or informed what the weather will be. And as you can see, it's absolutely floodgates. Floodgates are open. That could be why the drivers chose all to qualify on the soft tyres. We are going to have a wet start to the race, it seems. And this could be very, very interesting indeed. So get ready, get your Wellington boots on, get your umbrellas, and we're going to be in for some wet action here at the Paul Ricard circuit. Just checking the comments there, and I've been told that it will not go to a dry race. It will stay wet all the way through. Thank you, Mac, for that comment. Much appreciated. But yeah, it should be a wet race then, so anything can happen. Maybe some drivers will be faster in the wet. So it'd be interesting to see if they've gone for a wet quali setup. That could be a reason for some slower times. But it looking like full wet conditions, to be honest. Depends to see how the conditions go. But Tribe has readied up early first, so he'll be getting a look at before Rainman. The man who's currently starting at the back of the grid is the first man to ready up. So unfortunately, he'll probably be getting a penalty point for that and a slap on the wrist. But long way to go, as I will change that now to the feature race. Still says quali there we go, feature race time. Give me your predictions in the chat who you think may take the win here, but it's definitely going to be an interesting one as the full wets are on all the cars, and the rain is coming down nice and heavily here in France. I did say before the race kicked off, before the qualifying session kicks off, should I say, that the rain is always possible here in France, and looks like that one's come true. But that makes for more action. Adds a bit of spice to the race and really allows some driver skill to shine. But here we are then on the formation lap, following around with Netsky, your current championship leader and your defending champion. He'll be looking to Oh, we have a car spun round. That's Ryder Dahl's gone off on a formation lap. That is fairly impressive. Good job to him for spinning that there. Some would say Roman Grosjean-esque, I would say. Unfortunate events. But there you go. Wet is the ideal strategy, but it depends. Is the rain going to ease at all or not? Who knows? But we are in for 27 laps of action here at the 15 corner circuit. 6 to the left and 9 to the right. 2 DRS straights. That is 1 on the start-finish line. And of course at the end of sector 1, plenty of overtakes taking place. The most interesting place to pass will probably be down into turn 8 at the end of the DRS straight, down the inside, trying to hook up the turns 8 and 9 before the exit down to turn 10. But the driver just come around the final few corners now. Someone else has dropped it under the safety car, I think. It's not Rappel, it's Vape and Matt. So a bit of rearranging going to be needed on the start line. But we will be underway very shortly. Let's have a quick look at the... sorry about that. We'll have a quick look at the driver's standing. As you can see, Renault are currently in second and third on this grid. So they're looking to take charge and put a pounce on Netsky at the top. As you can see, the second and third on the grid, and they're second in the Constructors' Championship. So this could be big points for the Renault team. This could be a very big race towards the Constructors' fight. AlphaTauri taking the last 2 Constructors' Championships, with Netsky taking both titles and that. But we are about to get underway here at the Paul Ricard circuit. A little bit of throttle input, as you see from Netsky down your bottom right corner. And I do get underway then here in the Paul Ricard. Wet weather. We're in France. A little bit slippery there from the Renault drivers. They seem to have been going backwards, but Netsky seems to have got away well. Hopefully don't have any tears into turn number 1, and we don't, it seems, at the minute. Everyone seems to have kept it fairly clean as we see a Williams go off and the Red Bull rounds 2. That is Tribe and McGamer, and they find themselves down the grid with the Renaults only going backwards, as it seems. What's happened here? It's not Tribe, sorry, it's James Dovey who finds himself at the back of the grid. We have a bit of a timing glitch going on. Let's try and find your leader of the race. Here he is. Netsy's got away well with Rappel behind chasing him down. But a terrible start for James Dovey, and he always seems to find himself on the end of some incident into turn number 1. But he's found himself there again, and he's got a catch up to do. It seemed. Has he got wing damage, the Red Bull driver? I cannot see from this angle, and from that angle, yes he does. He is missing an end plate. So unfortunately for him, he is missing an end plate. Silly Sly Guy looking to have a go at Rappel then. Into turn number 10 in the rain, but this is very easy to lose the car in the wet conditions. He's going to look to go down the inside turn 11 though. The championship battle between the E3 is definitely heating up, and all 3 of them currently in the podium positions, looking to take advantage of their skill in the wet weather. But you can see Sly Guy just struggling a couple of times on the start line out of turn number 1 and now out of turn number 11. Just losing that back end ever so slightly. The Racing Points have had a good start as well. Everyone seems to be keeping it clean as we go through the field. Isaac races quite close in the back of Vape and Matt. And it's getting close between Sir Quinniff and the drivers around him. Tribe's gone forward quite nicely. He'll be quite happy with that. But unfortunately, his teammate Dax has gone into the pit lane. He's been speeding, unfortunately for him. So that's our first pit stop. Netsky sets the fastest lap, and I think he's going to try and pull away now. But it's going to be down to those cars behind him to try and keep on the back of the reigning champion. But Dax is in the pit lane. James Dovey stays out then with wing damage. He's going to try and take it all the way. But Dax is an F2 driver, currently sat in 20th place. He's going to be trying to use this time just to practice for his race tomorrow. Same time, 7 o'clock. McGamer, also down 18th, is also an F2 driver. So do not expect to see the Williams flying through the grid anytime soon. But it's a lot of respect to them for taking part today and coming to fill in some vacant seats that we do have. But it's good to have a full grid again, and good to see the drivers out on the grid track again, and we do not have any casualties that are out of the race as of yet. Let's have a look quickly at the position changes. And as you can see, Rappel's got 3 positions off the start, so he's done a great job. Has the Haas driver looking to try and improve on his good start to his CSGB racing career. He's done a fantastic job indeed, but a few places gained and a few places dropped. Nothing too significant. Noah's only gone backwards. But like I say, nothing too drastic's happening in the minute, as this is what happens with the wet conditions. People are just trying to find their feet in these treacherous storm conditions. And Ryder Dahl now looking to close on the back of Magsy. Let's see if he can get any move down to turn 1. Very easy to have a crash into turn 1. If you take the inside line, it sort of just closes at all times. McGamer also finds himself in the pit lane as well. So both Williams pitting lap 1 and lap 2. So maybe they both picked up wing damage. So Williams having a realistic start to this race. Find themselves both at the back of the grid. Netsky nearly pulled out to a second ahead, but unfortunately that won't mean anything in the wet conditions, as DRS will not be enabled unless this track dries out, as Magsy runs wide out of turn 6, sorry, should I say, and the exit of turn 7. So Magsy just going to lose a bit of time. There's Rainman picks up the first corner cutting penalty, and McGamer's gone to the intermediates, interestingly. Maybe he's just trying to give a sign to see if those tyres are any quicker than the wet, so maybe it may change the intermediate conditions quicker than we think. But yeah, that mistake from Magsy hasn't quite let Ryder in too much, and Ryder find themselves in the Renault and the Racing Point sandwich. Looking on the back of Magsy though, he's a little bit slightly as Magsy, so maybe he is running a dry setup, or not adapted his wet one to the sturdiness that is required in these tricky conditions. But at the moment it's staying fairly equidistant between these 3, and that's Magsy, Ryder and Vapor Wizzy I'm talking about. Fetbass on his debut is staying in 7th place. He's not under too much pressure at the minute, is the Mercedes driver. Bit of fighting going on behind between Matt and Isaac. Isaac looking to try and bring McLaren some needed points, and Jay Prentice looking to try and fight. As we have the first incident, Matt has lost his rear end and slammed it into the wall there, so Isaac put him under all kinds of pressure, and our first casualty has lost it on himself, so that's wing damage for Vapor Matt, and he will not be too happy with that, I'm sure, and that will probably mean a pit stop for the Haas driver. Try not to impede anyone as you rejoin, please, Matt, and he lets Jay Prentice pass, and I think Hex Bent will probably get past shortly too. But the first major talking point of today's race, as Ryder's looking to get right close on the back of Magsy out of turn 6 and 7. The Renault car looking to try and use all his ERS now to try and make a move down into turn number 8. And this is normally where you'd have DRS, but the Racing Point goes to the inside to defend. Stay on this camera angle to try and get the best shot of the entry. And it looks like the Renault's got the job done, and that's a nice sweeping move around the outside of turn 8, and that gives them the exit for turn 9. And that's Renault currently in P3 and 4, and a great move from Ryder. Now looking to use a bit of ERS to pull away, but Magsy just saving it, so that could be vital in a challenge later down the line. But that was a good move from Ryder. Took his time to weigh up the situation and picked off Magsy quite comfortably there into turn 8. Bowers and Matt, just as Matt dropping back again, destroying all kinds of brake markers. But it seems that Gamers caught up quite a lot to the back of the grid on those intermediate tyres. Seems to be doing quite a good job, but Netsky has extended his lead now to, well, it was over a second, just for a little bit. Not choosing to burn too much of his ERS. Neither of the two behind. Netsky sets another fastest lap of the race as we have our first pit stop. Eklund drops into the pit lane. Let's see what tyres he'll go on to. We have Bowers into the pit lane as well, so maybe it may be time for intermediate tyres. I don't think they got wing damage on that. They didn't, so the intermediates are going on for some drivers. Maybe it's at the switching point already. We saw McGamer go onto them earlier on, looking for some undercuts, I assume, for some other drivers, but Noah Jones putting Rayman under pressure. Rayman does have himself a penalty, so this probably isn't a move he should be making. Diving into turn number 3 and 4. But it's close on the back of the gearbox of the AlphaTauri. Can he get the grip and the power out of the corners? We now have 4 drivers on the intermediate tyres. Here comes Noah then. He's going to make a move on Rainman. That's going to be the question. Will he get it done into turn 8? We just saw Ryder do it the lap before. He's looking to burn. He's looking to the inside. Has he got the move done? He is ahead of the corner. Moves back onto the racing line. Just giving Rainman enough space. And Noah completes the move. So good job from the Welshman. And the Ferrari moves up into P9 for now. The front 3 getting closer and closer with Silly Sligo to put Rappel under all kinds of pressure after he just went backwards slightly at the start. Did the Renault, just trying to adapt to the conditions, I assume. And he currently finds himself in 3rd place, half a second behind Rappel. But these 3 can tow each other along and pull away from the rest of the pack. And you might see some chopping and changing in the pit stops. And none of the top 3 choose to go onto the intermediate tyres yet. So maybe they could still feel they have a lot of pace on the wet compound. But as we do see, one of the racing points as Magsy jumping into the pit lane, and Fetbass also chooses to go in, and Isaac also takes the option to go onto the intermediate tyre. So we see a few drivers now changing over, and a lot of drivers actually indeed popping on the intermediate tyre. Let's see where Eklund comes out then, because he went onto the intermediates a little earlier on, a lap earlier. Let's see how much time he gains on those cards in front and see if they actually are the right choice. Clearly Jeff's been on the radio telling the drivers to box, and the drivers taking that announcement and jumping into the pit lane. But here comes Eklund then, and he seems to have got the doing of quite a few drivers there. Is the Alfa Romeo, he's taking purple sectored as well, so a nice undercut there. As we see ahead of them though, Magsy and Dovey going side by side. Will the intermediates take advantage here as the 2 go side by side into turn 3 and 4? Dovey a little bit close there to the rear end of Magsy as he came across, but he's kept the position. And Magsy in the racing point moves up on those fresh set of tyres, and Dovey's just going backwards yet again. He will have to pit for the Inters at some point, but he's only on the wet tyres, but he's in 8th place. But the early incident hasn't helped his cause. Sligo though whipping it around into turn 11 and staying with Rappel as much as they can, but they don't want to try and slow each other down. They want to stay on the back of Netsu's gearbox and try and put him under some pressure. But in that process, Jay Wizzy did pick up a penalty. So, another slide there from Sligo. Seems to be drifting around every corner when I watch him in a minute. But he's doing his work. As Netski, all 3 drivers in fact pull into the pit lane. So top 3 into the pits. As the top 4 or 5 into the pit lane. I'm sure Jay Prentice might follow them in there as well. Let's see if he does. And it'll be interesting to see where Magsy comes out. Prentice, very unusual line into the pit lane. But that is what it is. Let's see then when Magsy comes out. Will he be able to undercut any of the top 3? They had pulled away quite significantly on the previous laps. But let's see where he comes out. He wasn't too far behind. He's a little bit squirmish out of the final corner. And will he have closed the gap on his drivers ahead? He would have done actually. He's got himself up to 4th place, but right on the back of Sligo. And Sligo's lost a lot of time into the pit lane, so maybe been a little bit cautious on his entry and exit, but he will have Magsy for company now. Rappel seems to have got the better pit stop out of the 3, but also Netski has pulled away as well. So the pit stop's just been a little bit of a gap between some of the drivers, as now all drivers are on the intermediate tyres. And the undercut has probably worked massively there as Matt sets the fastest lap. Closest gap within the top 10 is just under a second now, but it's getting a little bit heated here between McGamer, Hex, Benz and Bowers. McGamer, remember, is an F2 driver, so to be up in 13th place in such a competitive division, he's doing a great job holding off some of the drivers. Hex Spencer's going to look to try and stamp his authority, the new Alfa Romeo driver in the blue helmet, looking to try and get a pass done as quickly as he can, but otherwise he's going to have a Bowers to answer to, as the rain still continues to fall here in France. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime shortly. Bowers showed he had a lot of pace last season. Being the F2 champion, he had a lot of pace in the rain and almost swept the floor with the majority of the grid last season around in all wet conditions. But as you see, 15th place and just falling off the back of this pair. Let's see if Hex can make a dive into turn number 1 if he's feeling brave. Magsy sets the fastest lap there, and Racing Point looking good in 4th and 5th. Ryder has dropped back, unfortunately, so been undercut by quite a few cars. Ekelund was the first person to pit, and you can see he's in 6th place, so he was brave on the undercut, and McGame has also ripped the rewards from that as well, being up in 13th place. So the intermediates came into their own quite early on then in this race, and it's probably what we're going to see for the rest of it as well. Hex then deploying his overtake button, as is the Williams, but it looks like Hex is going to go round the outside. This move's been brewing for a couple of laps now. And before corner number 8, the Alfa Romeo is ahead of the Williams. Maybe looking now for McGamer to back up Bowers and just allow Hex to move on to the back of Jay Prentice, who is in a lot of clean air, and he'll just trying to be taking things steady as he flings it round turn number 10. Ryder then, he's dropped back, but he'll be looking to try and close in on the car ahead of him. But with entries to corners and exits like that, he probably won't. But he seems to have got the exit on Isaac, but not close enough to make a move in a minute. Sly Guy seriously has caught up to the back of Rappel after a disappointing pit stop. He definitely fell off the back. Netsky setting faster lap times, and now with Sly Guy, so that just shows his pace and how much the track is drying and improving for grip and pace also. But 8 temps still separate him and Rappel, and Netsky pulling away nicely at the top of the grid. There probably will be another stop at some point for new intermediate tyres, because I doubt these intermediates will go to the end at all. Probably see that with about 10 laps to go, maybe lap 17, maybe a little bit after that, but those tyres will not go, as James Dovey has called it a day. Unfortunately for him, James Dovey's left the session and he's called it quits. Another disappointing drive and another disappointing outing for the Red Bull driver, and he finds himself out of the race on lap number 9. Disappointing to see, but unfortunately that is a mistake. Or an early disappointment in lap 1, and that's put him at the back ultimately, but unlucky to James. But he did well to stick at it and give it a shot, but nothing really came his way. But his car has come back out onto the track, which is not safe. So hopefully that pulls over and retires someplace out of the way. We don't want a repeat of last week, an AI car taking out the leaders, or the lead challengers, should I say. But Ryder then in the Renault looking to try and close in the back of Isaac. He's closed the gap 2 temps since the last time around. But none of these drivers are really going to be able to make a move with the added incentive of DRS. So it's going to have to be down to driver skill and just trying to manufacture a move using late braking and as much ERS saving as you can. Trying to get exits out of corners, that's the main thing in these wet conditions. As you see, Fetpass getting a little bit wiggly up ahead. That may allow Isaac just to jump on the back and get a bit more slipstream from the Mercedes. So this 3-way battle is going to get interesting, I think, in a couple of laps' time, as Ryder takes all the curb on entry and exit, just about keeping it within the lines. He has also picked himself a penalty as he serves Sir Quinniff into the pit lane. Magsy picks himself up another penalty, so the Racing Point boys not been entirely pretty, and we have another casualty today, and that is Sir Quinniff, who is filling in the Mercedes seat. He has called it a day too, unfortunately, and that is 2 drivers out in 2 laps by the way of retirement. But Dax will take another position. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Currently sat far at the back, but he's just using this as practice for his competitive league race tomorrow. Prentice picks himself up a penalty there. That could disrupt his challenge for points. Sly Guy's getting closer to Rappel, but not close enough to make a move. Not too much action at the minute. Not too much happening. That's normally what happens in the wet conditions, but it takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to try and make moves done in the rain. So maybe we'll see them a little bit later on as this race continues. Do have yellow flags. There is a McLaren round. That is Jay Prentice, so he's gone round at the entry of turn 11. So maybe chucking it in too quickly into turn number 10. Easy to lose the rear end there in the dry, let alone the wet conditions. So maybe giving it too much throttle. I didn't see any collision at all. Didn't see anyone close enough to make a collision. But that is Jay Prentice down the order to 17th. And that penalty previously may have unsettled him. Maybe aggravated him. But he's down into 17th place for now. Bowers looking to try and close on the back of McGamer. 63% ERS to 31. So nearly half. Nearly half less. Oh, as Bowers takes a lot of the inside curb. So that'll be a warning for him, no doubt. To go back on to Silly Sly Guy. He's looking to put Rappel under all kinds of pressure as he's later on the brakes. He will be trying to look after those tyres as much as he can. He won't want to risk anything because he knows there's a lot of time left in the race. 16 laps to get the move done. But Netsky has pulled out. He's had an upset in the last few races, not been at his A game, but he's recovering here tonight at France and he's putting in a show at the front and just trying to lead from the front and take his championship battle as far as he can and just maybe try and put out a message that he is the top dog here at CSGB. He is the reigning champion. He wants to make it 3 in a row and this position will be helping him massively for that. So currently the two closest battles on the track are coming from... Oh, sorry for the bang if you heard that. Accidentally knocking the microphone. But the two closest battles are coming from the Renault drivers today. Ryder, after a very good qualifying, has had a disappointing start to the feature race. Probably unsettled a little bit by the pit stop and this necessity to go onto the intermediate tyres. But he's close enough here to make a move, possibly if he wants to dive down the inside, but it's not safe to. And he does take the right decision just to hold back. And the red light ahead of him is flashing, showing the conservation of ERS. In fact, that is not for that is because it's raining, so the red light will be flashing in all circumstances. Sligo now touching the 1/10 mark as they're flying through turn 11. Doesn't get too close through here. Dirty air will cause a little bit of unsettlement, as you probably saw from Jay Prentice a little earlier on. He slid and lost the car. I'm not entirely sure if that was an incident of someone else. That will have to be looked back on, but I didn't see any contact or anyone close enough to make contact here. But you can easily drop the car around turns 10 and 11 if you're not careful enough on the throttle or brake application. But yet again, these two just slowing each other down and letting Netsky escape. But no moves really being made. Rappel, is he conserving his ERS? They both are pretty much doing the same thing at the minute. One will conserve, one will not, as Silly Sligo seems to have a straight pace on the Haas driver ahead of him. Very close now between these two. Oh, as Rappel seems to have made a mistake there. What happened there? I missed that as with the onboard from Sly Guy, but Silly Sly Guy take full advantage of the mistake from Rappel, and he then picks himself up a 3-second penalty to go with his troubles. And Sly Guy takes both those with open arms, and up to second place he goes. And Rappel must have unsettled himself there as he lost the car, or maybe a little twitch as he approached turn 3 out of turn 2. And he drops down to third place and has a 3-second penalty for his issues as well. So not the best situation for him to find himself in, but third place currently, and plenty of space behind him just to relax and try and compose himself and put a fight back as Sir Quinniff does leave the lobby. Let's have a look at the penalties then. All penalties are 3 seconds, so that is easy to remember. A few positions maybe chop and change around the mid-points marks. As you can see, Eklund's only gone forward this race. The undercut doing massive things for him. Ryder not really being able to close any more on the back of Isaac. And the same goes for most things here, to be honest. As Bowers and McGamer are giving us a side-by-side show in turn 11. Bowers looks to get this move done, but he's going to fight about on the inside as a William driver, and that's good driving from McGamer. Keeping it all on the track and keeping it all clean and all pretty, and good job from the F2 driver, currently sat in 13th place. But don't you worry, Bowers will come back at him. This is racer versus commentator in the F2 division. Bowers just trying to set him up and try and put him under a bit of pressure, trying to force a mistake. Here's the Ferrari driver. He's looking to burn his ERS. They both are, to be honest. Bowers a little bit longer. Will he try and make a move down into turn 1? He's looking to the inside, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move because that space will quickly disappear. And they're going to go around again for another lap as these two battle out just a little bit more. And for another lap. Isaac Racer then is closing on the back of Fetbass. So Fetbass must have had a little issue here. That will help out Isaac as he was under pressure from Ryder Dahl. Let's see if anything can happen in this midfield pack. As Bowers puts himself up a penalty fighting with McGamer, so he'll be annoyed about that. McGamer not doing anything wrong though by the looks of things. But here goes Bowers then, looking to make a move into turn 8. Will he be late on the brakes? No, he won't. We have Jay Prentice out the session. What's happened here? Where is this? And we're trying to ride on board with Dax as he comes past the incident, so he's lost it out of turn number 4. Sorry, 6, sorry. And we have a full course safety car come out. Dax has jumped to the pit lane. We have a lot of drivers into the pit lane, so there'll be new intermediates going on. And the car is despawned, but it seems to be on the right-hand side, as you're seeing by the fire engine. Jay Prentice is out of the race, and he's lost it under his own speed. And we have everyone jumping to the pit lane. A few pit speeding penalties, and the group is about to rebunch. Dax is a drive-through for speeding under the safety car, Delta. So his race has gone from bad to worse at the back of the grid. But I'm sure he won't be too annoyed at himself for that. But we do have a lot of pit stops going on. Netsky still remains out ahead. And Netsky, who built himself up a nice, comfortable cushion, has got unlucky there. And Sly Guy is now right up behind him with Rappel as well. Oh, Rappel nearly crashes to the back of him under the safety car as the pit stops take place. So these new intermediates that were always going to be put on have been handed a free pit stop to be able to be placed onto the cars. And they remain fresh and ready to go. Everyone has pitted apart from Dax, who is now in the pit lane. So every single driver on the grid will be on fresh intermediates for the restart. But Netsky leading the way. Eklund finds himself, he's gone up another position. So every single driver on the grid has put on a new set of boots. And it remains intermediate weather for the near future. And it probably will do for a lot longer. Probably be another lap or so of the safety car. So it's going to be close come the end of the race. Now it's going to be a lot more action taking place. It'll be an interesting one to see who does take the win here, because Netsky looked for all the world he would run away with it, and it needed a safety car for someone like Sly Guy if he wants to try and get another win, looking for 6 out of 7, and I think that's a fairly impressive record. The driver's catching to the back of the pack now, but we do have Peter Dax needed to catch up as well, so there'll probably be another lap under the safety car, and the going round again is the Mercedes AMG leading the way with its yellow light flashing. Just allows all drivers to save a bit of fuel, although fuel saving is fairly straightforward in the wet conditions. It doesn't really deplete as quickly as the dry. Now it's time to move on and get your head started straight and ready for the restart, which should be in about a lap's time. I think should be about a lap, as Dax should catch up before the safety car line. But I think it's gonna be a great battle here at restart. Netsky's gonna try and look to get away from the two quick drivers behind him, and Magsy, as you can see, from third place down to 7th, a lot of penalties to contend with, so that may become very helpful for Isaac, who's looking to take advantage of that. If he can stay within 3 seconds of all those drivers on his restart for the final 10 laps it will be when the car comes in, I think he'll be in a very good place to score points for McLaren, with his teammate dropping out of the race altogether and causing a safety car. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The little indicator coming up that safety car is coming in this lap. So it'll be down to Netsky to get us underway once the car goes into the pit lanes. And let's get ready for a very exciting restart. The wet can throw up all kinds of issues. We might see a few cars losing the rear ends, and I hope that doesn't cause for a mass pile-up. That's for sure. It'll be 10 laps to go then when they cross the line. And the safety car is now in the pit lane, so Netsky can go whenever he likes. He can take to the throttle. Yeah, I imagine he'll try and slow everything down before the final corner, but here he goes then round the final hairpin. Still not choosing to go then is Netsky. He's going to leave it as late as he possibly can, and there he goes. Guns the car down the pit lane. Pit straight, should I say. And he should keep a position down in turn 1. But a lot of drivers having to navigate the hairpin corner, and that's going to disrupt the field. But it's clean. It seems to be clean. Clean gets away. Side by side between Bowers and Vapor Matt. Still banging wheels. Matt can give a little bit more room there. But Bowers forces his way through anyway. And Matt's lost that position. And everyone seems to have restarted quite nicely. Bowers and Matt fighting again. But Bowers stays ahead. And nearly loses the car as well. Tryby looking to try and get involved in McGamer. Tryby, of course, starting at the back of the grid. He's moved up a fair few positions, so not a bad job done from himself. He'll be fairly happy with his performance so far. But no moves being made as we scroll through the field. A little close here between the midfield. Ryder then looking to jump on the back of Isaac Racer. Both burning their ERS very early on into safety car restart. Will he get a job move done into turn 10? I wouldn't advise it. And he lifts off the throttle. And no moves being made just yet. Although Sly Guy is closing quite close now onto the back of Netsky. Trying to put him under all sorts of pressure if he can. But Netsky's been able to answer every question thrown at him so far in the opening 17 laps. And he seems to be doing a decent job of that this time around as well. Isaac Racer staying close to the drivers ahead of him, and with that no penalty at the minute, he'll be moving forward quite a few positions, if you can say that. As Peter goes into pit lane, not sure why, but he's into pit lane again. Tryby picks himself up a penalty. Close here though between this pack again. See if any moves can be made down to the best overtaking point in the circuit, turn 8. We will see no DRS this time around. Is Isaac Race going to be close enough to make a move onto the back of Fetbass? And the answer is no. the new Mercedes driver keeps his position. We'll try and close on the back of Eklund if he can. City Sly Guy's very close now to Netsky. Let's stay on board with this duel as the top two in the championship fight it out for the top two positions on track here at Paul Ricard. The French fans will be cheering on that Renault at its home Grand Prix. And if the English driver can deliver, I'm sure there'll be some songs and love for that Renault driver if he can bring it home for a home win for the Renault team. The now Alpine team, of course. But not close enough to make a move yet. But he definitely is closing in on the AlphaTauri driver. Looked to the inside. I thought he would go for a move there. But he knows he's got time in his hand and fuel in his pocket to try and make the move done. But they're both storing ERS quite comfortably. Rappel dropped off the back using a lot of his ERS. So this may come down to an ERS battle on the final lap. Both saving quite nicely. Quite nicely at the minute. Ryder, Isaac and Fetbass all staying within half a second of each other at the minute. Rappel though is closing on the back of City Sly Guy this time around. A little boost of ERS down the straight. Nothing that's going to allow him to encroach on the car ahead. As Ryder and Isaac's now going to make a move. And it's a good one from Ryder, and he moves himself up into 8th position. It's one he's going to have to try and do if he wants to try and escape. If he wants to escape Isaac, but the position is just always going to fall back to into the hands of the man who does not have a penalty at the minute in Isaac. Tribe and McGain are swapping positions too, and Williams running wide there onto the curb. Turn 10, but car number 66 stays behind Tribe, and Tribe is going to try and pull away from McGain by trying to retain his 13th position. So we get a nice camera angle of Noah Jones flying through turn 14. Looking to try and make a move on the car ahead of him. Netsky gets the fastest lap of the race. And maybe that point can stay for a little bit as Fetbass and Ryder looking to make up 2 positions now. Around the outside of turn 1. He's done it. Good job from Ryder. He's looking to make moves now. We have a yellow flag behind. Vapor Matt has gone around. Him and Bowers have been tangling quite a lot this race. And Matt has gone round on the main straight. So that'll be interesting to take a look at. I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. But yeah, there's a car around on the pit straight. So must have been contact there. Ryder picks himself up a penalty. So he's got forward a few positions. But he's now going to fall back a few positions with that extra penalty as well on his hand. So not ideal for the Renault driver. Netsky doing a very good job of saving his ERS then. And still not burning it down the straight. Sly Guy setting purple sectors, but he's just not going to find a way through there. And now Netsky has almost twice the amount of ERS power. Here goes Sly Guy then looking on the back of the Swede. Very close between the front two, but driving at great pace, to be honest. It's great to see. Great fighting and great pace in such horrible conditions. As we begin lap 20 then, as we come to the end of lap 20 I should say, and begin lap 21 as they pass the pit lane again. 4 tenths currently the gap. You see a lot of short shifting going on the gearbox of City Sly Guy, but again, not going to be any closer to make a move, and both drivers using ERS down that straight. Ryder now is working his way back up the field, and he's right on the back of Eklund now. Eklund, who did a great job of getting himself up the field to a brilliant undercut. Stays in 6th place for now, so he's done a good job so far. The top 3 though, the top 3 we've seen from start to finish so far are battling it out yet again, as we have Vapor Matt into the pit lane to repair that damage that he got earlier on. So maybe he'll be looking to take advantage of a new set of intermediate tyres and fix that front wing and try and go for a fastest lap maybe. Nope, instead he's called it a day and he's retired in the pit lane. So that is our third person to retire in the pit lane. And he joined Jay Prentice on the did not finish list after his crash caused the safety car to come out. But here comes Silly Sly Guy then. He's closer this time. Closer than he has been before, but there's no gap to make a move there. Netsy's playing as perfectly as Eklund goes into the pit lane. So what's happened here for the Alfa Romeo driver? He's in such a good position. Has he picked himself up wing damage? He's just going to drop through the field. It can't be anything to do with his tyres because they've only 6 laps old. He's going to the soft tyres, funnily enough. Well then, this is a very strange call. He's currently serving a penalty. 5-second penalty. I'm putting on the soft tyres with 5 laps to go. Maybe it's time to go on to them. Maybe he's trying something here. But he's going to lose a lot of time through that pit stop. He was in a good position to pick up points for his team. But now he finds himself down in the order and out of the points. But he's in on the soft tyres. So, very interesting. The rain is still coming down. It still looks like it's quite wet out there. But 5 laps remaining. We'll see what Eklund can bring himself to. Very interesting decision there from the Alfa Romeo driver. It might be one that pays off. He made an interesting decision earlier to jump onto the intermediates earlier on, and it paid off for himself. But with only 5 laps to go, it seems like a strange one. But if it pays off, who am I to speak? Sly Guy looking to try and close that gap a little bit more on the championship leader, but it's not happening anytime soon. And the more time that goes by, the more laps that tick past, and closer to the checker flag we come. Ryder has got past, obviously another position up due to the penalty, due to the pit for Eklund. But Eklund looking to get a bit of a tussle with Peter. Peter wants a fight. He's been back on his own the whole race, and look, you just see those soft tyres that aren't capable of doing anything. But Peter's just illegally overtaken Eklund off circuit, so that could be looked at if indeed it is appealed at all. But that was an illegal overtake from Peter around the outside. He should get that position back, but it doesn't look he will do. But Eklund is so slow on those soft tyres. I think the move would have been done anyway, and Eklund has gone for a bit of a stupid decision here, and that's going to cost him vital points towards the rest of the season. But you know, you've got to make the decisions sometimes, because if they pay off, then it's going to work an absolute treat for him. The race might even come back to him even more, but he's only falling further and further behind. And unfortunately, Eklund will be paying the price for jumping onto those soft tyres. But everyone else on the intermediates for now, as a Sly Guy looking to burn what is left of his ERS button and try and close the gap. Maybe trying to force Netsky into burning his as well. He has burned it a little bit more, up to 49%, now 51%. But the ERS saving from Netsky has been very good all race. Rappel and Silly both trying to burn their way through it. But it's definitely drying up now. The rain has stopped coming down. So there is 4 laps left once they cross the line. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in terms of these tyres falling off at all over the next few laps, because this track's just going to dry now. It's not going to get any wetter. And Eklund has read the weather quite well today. He's been 1 lap ahead or 2 laps ahead of the rest of the field. But I think he might have left that pit stop too late to try and have any drastic impact on winning the race. But there's still quite a few laps to go, at least 5 minutes left of racing. And the weather has significantly dried up, so we may see a dry track with intermediate tyres on. So that could shape up to be all kinds of racing conditions. And it might mean that a few drivers just struggle out here at the minute. Let's have a quick look at nominations for driver of the day in terms of position changes. And as you can see, Tribe's gone up 8 positions, so he's done a fantastic job. The top 10 have really not really chopped and changed too much. A few drivers dropping back the odd position or so, but Ryder Dahl did drop back, but he pulled it back quite nicely. So any of you that are watching, any of you that are not any of the drivers driving, please let me know if you who your votes are for driver of the day, and I will check them in a minute. But as Silly Sly Guy's looking to get past Netski for about the 400th time today, the space yet again is just not there. But the track is definitely drying up, and I think Sly Guy could have a faster setup on in the dry, as we saw him a little bit unstable earlier on in the race in the full wet conditions. But the race might come back to him in his dry conditions. Looking to make a move then is the Renault. Trying to shape it up, but it's a repeat of the last time around. And Dovey says, I think we should do. Dovey should get driver of the day for completing more than one lap. And I mean, mate, I wouldn't be too fussed. Give it to you if you want it. But it's been some very good performances here. As McGamer goes onto the. We'll put it onto soft tyres too. He doesn't have much to lose really, as it does he really being an F2 driver. But unfortunately, Dovey, mate, it's a shame to see you not finishing the race again. But you know, there's always a sprint race, mate. There's always a sprint race to try and work your way through the field. And at this rate, you might as well just drive a bit of fun and take one race at a time. But it's been a very disappointing season for yourself. I think you would admit that as well. Tribe or Bowers then. We have a shout, yeah, 2 shouts for Tribe. He's done a great job. Although he's not in the points, he's put up a shift today. We'll see what happens with the penalties if anything sorts itself out. But yeah, definitely Tribe had put in a good shift on those set of tyres for this stint, in fact. And he's worked his way up from 20th place. It won't mean much for his team or himself, but like you say, you can recognise it when a driver's had a good race and worked their way through the field. DRS enabled then. Very interesting. 2 laps to go as the driver's now going to start lap 26. Sly Guy's in a great position here to take the race to Netski as DRS is open then for the final 2 laps of this Grand Prix. Netski, who's defended well all race long, now has ERS fueled Silly Sly Guy behind him and DRS. So the track is now in dry conditions, but with 2 laps to go, it is simply just going to be a shootout between these intermediate drivers, because one pit stop is just, you should be able to get around quicker on the intermediate tyres. But look how slow it is now. Barely half throttle round the corner. But here we go then, the first attacking move we've seen with DRS into turn number 8. We have yellow flags flashing, not sure what that was entirely for, but Netski seems to have just pulled away a little bit more that time around, as they've now got a lap and a half to go here in Paul Ricard for the feature race. Round 8 has been a lively one. Haven't had rain for a couple of weeks, but it's come out again, I should say, and we're looking at a bit of action now down in the field. Yeah, but here comes Isaac Racer looking to burn his ERS. Both drivers burning all their ERS. Fetbass probably going to be a sitting duck on the next straight if he continues to do that. Ooh, very close to the back is Isaac. Fetbass struggling in these conditions. The crossover period causing a little bit of problems for a few drivers, as they're now about to come across the line to start the last lap of the Grand Prix. Fetbass slipping, sliding all over the place, and Isaac takes that gift with open arms. And a man with no penalties moves forward again, and he'll probably move forward again a little bit later on if he can close the gap. But 7th place for the McLaren. Last lap then. It's a last lap shootout between the front 2. We've seen this a few times this season with Netski and a couple of other drivers. But it's now Sly Guy's time to shine. Will he get another win in a feature race? He's looking to make it 4 out of 4. Let's see if he can do it again. 3 attempts then as they approach the final DRS chance to get a move made. He's a little bit sliding at the corner. 3 attempts, now 4 attempts. Staying at 4 attempts. Will Sly Guy get the move done into turn number 8? Half a second he's got to close up. He's using all his ERS now. He's somehow managed to gain more than Netski over the final straight. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move this time around. He's going to have to wait for the exit. Can he get the exit? He breaks early to get the early entry, which means he'll close for the exit. McGamus, it's the fastest lap then, so that's gone from Netsky. Netsky no longer has the fastest lap of the race. But here we go then. Final sector of the final lap of the feature race. Can Netsky hold on? That is the question. He's done a great job of it so far today, and he's doing a great job of it all the way up until the final checkered line. Here comes Silly Sly Guy. Can he make a move? Will he be able to find any more pace than the car ahead of him? At the minute, it's not looking likely. Netsky's held this wonderfully. Even with the assistance of DRS, Silly Sly Guy cannot get a move done. 2 corners to go then. The long turn for 14 and 15 coming up. But it looks like Netsky's going to take the checkered flag and look for his first win in a feature race for the last 4 weeks. And here he comes to the line then. The AlphaTauri driver takes the win in the feature race, and Sligo will take second, but a great battle throughout. And Rappel takes 4th. Magsy will come across the line in 4th and 5th for Vapor. Wizzy, Ryder Dahl up to 6th place after a good recovery drive, but he's jumped by Isaac Racer, so he goes to 6th. Fetbass Isabi takes 8th. Where is Rainman going to come? The answer is probably 9th place, as he comes to the line now. And that's both AlphaTauris in the points. Good for their constructors' battle. And Noah Jones in the Ferrari will take 9th from CSGB Rainman and the fastest lap points. So nice points there for Noah as he went onto the soft tyres. Rainman is in 10th. Bowers in 11th. Tribe in 12th. Hex Bents for in 13th. Gamer 14th. Eklund 15th. And across the line, a bit behind the pack, but putting a good shift today. Filling in for one of the F1 drivers. The F2 driver, Peter, goes into second. So a good race all round there from the drivers. Top stuff, and some great action as we've gone from full wets to inters to pretty much dry conditions. And as you can see, Tribe gets driver of the day. And I think that's fully well deserved after his push from the back of the grid. But there we go then. There is your winner. Netsky wins the race, and I'm sure he'll be very happy with that one. After not winning in a few weeks, he takes the win in France with Silly Sly Guy behind him, and Rappel taking a podium as well. So vital points towards the title push, but this will not be affecting the standings just yet, and hopefully we can see what happens. But here we go, the final standings. All 2 stops pretty much in the top 10. Netsky, Sligo, Rappel, Magsy, Vapor, Wizzy, Isaac, Ryderdale, Fetbass, Noah and CSGB Rayman are in the point positions, with Bowers just outside and Tribe picking up driver of the day. Good job from him, and also a big shout out to Bowers, not close, not too far off getting driver of the day as well. But there you see the 4 people that did not finish, and a good job, well done from the majority of the drivers. So a sterling effort from them all, and Mac thinks he did really well, and yes, he did do very well, mate. You did an extremely good job in 14th place. Very good from you, my friend, to get and compete with these drivers. Magsy saying GG as well. But yeah, guys, good race, good feature race. We'll be back shortly in about 5 or 10 minutes time with the sprint race. So we'll catch you in just a little bit. And yeah, that's the feature race done, and we'll be back for a reverse grid sprint race in about 5-10 minutes time. For now, enjoy the F1 theme tune. Hi. In the words of Lawrence TikTok, that was our dinner. What did you all have for dinner? Right, I'm on a mad one. Welcome back, everyone, to the sprint race. How are we all doing? Hope we've had a nice little break there, getting ready for some more action. Here at France, here at the Paul Ricard circuit, we had a very interesting feature race. Netsky took the win with City Sligo in second and Rappel rounding off the top three. But now it's time for the reverse grid, which means them three are going to have to fight their way back through the field. And I believe James Dovey will be leading us. No, he won't. Who's going to be leading us over the line? Not entirely sure. We'll see in a minute, though. But let's hope for some dry weather this time around in France. And hope that we can have a bit more racing action. But please, no more crashes, guys. Take your times. The sprint race is half a distance. As you can see, the sun is out, so we will be having a bit more action this time around. DRS will finally be allowed, and we will be able to get underway nice and cleanly. They did it in the rain. They did a nice job in the rain. But this time around, it's restarting and it's all to play for. So let's see what some of the drivers can do, and we'll wait for them to put their setups on and get themselves ready for the formation lap. We do have F2 action tomorrow evening. Same place, same time. Just a different 20 drivers. We do have Peter, Dax, and McGamer, who will be taking part in that one as well. And you'll also be able to join Bowers and James Dovey on commentary. As we now have the ready up from Rainman, everyone has done it correctly. The first time in a couple of weeks that we've had a correct ready up. But now it's time to take to the formation lap. And we'll see what strategies the drivers will go for. Probably soft medium or medium soft. We'll see what is more effective around here. But the sun is out. The skies are clear. And we are ready for another 14 laps, I think, of thrilling action. It will be Peter, 13 laps, I do apologise, will be leading us. Our round to start. Let's see what tyres the drivers have selected. So everyone in the top 10, bar Ryder, has chosen the softs. He's on the mediums. Isaac and Wizzy are on the softs, and everyone else has chosen the medium tyres. It's running through the grid then. So we have Peter and Eklund making that top two. So it's Williams, Alfa Romeo, all the way down to 4th place. Hex looking to make, as he takes out the cone there, turn 5. Tribe is starting in 5th place after picking up driver of the day in the feature. Bowers right behind him in 6th, and Rayman looking to try and push forward from 7th. Noah is in 8th. So a good chance for Ferrari to pick up some good points here. As for Williams and Alfa Romeo, Fetbas, the debutant, first sprint race for him, he will be in 9th. Ryder is in 10th. Isaac giving those softs some serious warming up in 11th. The two racing points find themselves in 12th and 13th. Rappel, Tilly and Netsky, I'm sure you will see them dice through the field. They've got to try and get through the traffic if they want to score more points, but they're in a good position here. 14th, 15th and 16th, not at the back. But they're in a good position in the lower midfield. Vape and Matt is in 17th, with Jay Prentice, unfortunately, who crashed out in 18th. Dovey is in 19th, and Kyle Catterson is currently in last position, being the first man to retire. So, but 13 laps of pace, 13 laps of sunshine, it seems, as they round the final few turns before we get underway for the final time here this evening. Again, any predictions are welcome in the chat. Let me know who you think may pull through and win this race. Sly Guy's done a very good job of doing that in his last 2 events, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it again, starting from 15th. But the sprint race, it allows opportunities for anyone to take the wheel, and take the race to the opposition. Just been told that it is going to be a dry race, so as you can see, I'm not too surprised about that, seeing the weather conditions. But here we go then, getting ready for lights out as the field is forming up. Four lights, 5 lights, and the clutches are released and we're underway in Paul Ricard for the sprint race. And it seems like one car's already gone off. That will be oh, that's off. No, it's a terrible start. I don't know what's happened here, but there's cars everywhere and the full course safety car. And before turn 1, we have cars all over the show. And Tryby, who's been given 5th position and driver of the day, has found himself at the back of the grid again. I have no idea what's happened here, but it was penalties galore in the first field. Rayman's got himself a 5-second penalty for corner cutting, and the sprint race yet again here at CSGB has had a drastic effect, and there's been another big crash. Let me just let the field reset itself. We get the safety car out and we'll have a little review of what's happened, but Tryby seems to have come off worse there. No one is out the race, but a lot of people picked up penalties and damage. What penalties have people picked up? Just 5-second penalties for collisions, I think, under yellow flags. One was for corner cutting under a yellow flag, so it'd be interesting to see who instigated all that, but that is not a good start from the drivers, and there's going to be yet more inquest into activities on the start line. But that was simply not good enough. But it will allow 3 pit stops to happen for the soft runners if they want to go to the mediums this early on. Well, let's see what happens, and let's see what if any pit stops do take place in the top 10. But that was not a pretty start. Not a pretty start. And I don't know how they've crashed on a straight, but when one person loses it, it's just a domino effect. We've seen this happen multiple times. But yeah, another crash. And unfortunately, that's the way it's going to be. But Peter goes into pit lane, and followed by Ekelund. Will the Williams double stack? It looks like they are, as the game has a really strange line. Hex going in Bowers, Noah all going in double stacking, as I don't know what's going on here. Side by side between Noah and Rayman as they need crash in the pit lane. Isaac also jumping in. I mean, majority of the lobby staying in. So we'll see who takes the lead. Sly Guy's going to take the lead of the Grand Prix then. So down from 15th, lap 2, the safety car comes out and Sly Guy stays out, and he's currently in the lead. Everyone else apart from the top 3 are in the pit lane. So 3 medium runners out, everyone else is in the pits. Netsky's serving a penalty. He wants a new front wing too. Oh, sorry, that's Rayman. Jay Pentis has retired. He's called it a day. Netsky's been held for a very, very long time. Maybe Matt's gone to the hard tyres. And Netsky's got to look to take the soft tyres to the end. So Netsky's going to come out right at the back, and he will not be happy with that. So we have the person who finished first at the back of the grid, and with the person who finished second currently leading the way with Rappel behind him. Top 3 will have to make a pit stop. Jay Prentice is out of the race again. 2 no points finishes for him, 2 no finishes at all for him. But let's see once this regroups, see what happens. But that was an eventful start. The only penalty left on track is James Stubby has a 5-second. That will probably get used when he does eventually pit, but all penalties have gone. Fetpass has disconnected, unfortunately, so he should be able to rejoin fairly shortly. But everyone, like I say, made the pit stop apart from the top 3. And if the back markers can hurry up and join the back of the train, we might be able to see the safety car come in this lap. But it doesn't look promising. Terrible start, but let's have a look at position changes. Tryby, unfortunately, has had the worst effect of the incident. I'm not sure if it was his fault. I think he might have got rear-ended off the start. But as you can see, the top 3 have gained enormous positions and advantages, but they do have to pit again. The real winner at the minute, well, is Isaac, to be honest. Peter's still stuck in first place net if you take away the pit stops. Maxi chooses this time around to go into the pit lane. As does Netsky again. So he's going back on the medium tyres. Okay. So he's done his run. These drivers going back onto the mediums to get the pit stops out of the way and take those tyres to the end. But that means we'll probably have another lap onto the safety car for those lots to catch up. They probably will catch up before the end of the lap, to be honest. But yeah, a lot of stuff yet to happen in under 10 laps. And unfortunately, the drivers have got 3 laps of racing in the bin due to a terrible start. But I hope that the restart isn't as bad as that start, as Rappel is very close to crashing to James Dovey there. I'm not sure why he's warming his tyres there, but that nearly caused a collision that could have quite easily been avoided, and luckily it was. But the safety car should be in this lap, as the field is now bunched back together, and we're looking for a restart at the end of this lap. Sligo will be getting us underway though, but do remember the top 3 have to pit. Everyone else has completed their pit stops. Faith and Matt is on the hard tyres. Those who are on the 1 lap old mediums are the ones to watch, and they'll be down to the top 3 to try and pull away and try and maybe hope for a virtual safety car or another safety car later down the line. But the safety car, as you can see, coming in this lap as expected. But yeah, let's have a look, see what happens, and hopefully the rest of the lap is clean. Fingers crossed. Fingers are crossed here in the commentary box. For now, the Renault is leading the way at its home Grand Prix. Of course, Alpine these days is Rappel's trying to get up alongside the Renault car and tell him to hurry along. The car's shining in the sun here in France. Got obviously some real life car reveals coming up in the next couple of days. Tomorrow, in fact, we have Mercedes and I believe Alpine. So it'll be interesting to see what those cars look like. But for now, we're looking at the 19 cars remaining on the grid as they're about to come around the final corner for a safety car restart. Let's see what happens and see what takes place. As now he's let it go very early. Rappel's been caught napping ever so slightly. And looks like Peter's got a good restart on the back of Dovey. Just go through the field. Is he going to make a move? Is the Williams? No, not close enough. It's turn 1. Neither is anyone else. So chopping changing is nothing under the first safety car restart. But here comes the Williams with Peter looking to take advantage of his last year's teammate down in F2, Dovey, who's now in F1 and putting a fight in 3rd place. But the front 2 are going to want to pull away as quick as they can. Dovey needs to do that as well, but he does have a 5-second penalty to serve in the pit lane. Eklund then looking to close on the back of Dax. Can he do it? Netsky's finally already got past 1 racing point, looking to get past another at the back of the field. Not close enough though this time around. Ryder gets past the McLaren. That looked to be very close as he pulled in there. A little bit of a wiggle on for the McLaren driver. But here goes Ryder looking to move up the inside again. Rainman moves forward too. Rainman and Matt fighting with the Red Bull of Tribe getting involved as well. It'll be 3 wide into turn 10. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully no incidents again. But Tribe, will he make the move stick? Oh, big crash. That's a car gone flying. And that's Vapor Matt out of the session. We saw a bit of a collision there with Tribe. Tribe looked like he had the inside line. Looked like he had the car ahead. But Matt tried to force his way around the outside. We've got another safety car. It's simply just not needed. Like, one of those two has to pull out in that situation. I think Rayman was just ahead into the corner, so it wasn't his doing. But Tribe and Matt coming together, and ultimately that's caused the crash. I'm not entirely sure how that's happened. I'm not entirely sure how Matt's managed to hit the wall that far away. I'm pretty sure he could have quite easily slowed himself down rather than ploughing into the wall. That runoff at turn 10 is quite big. I don't think it's going to take that big a shunt to fly you into the wall, but I mean, as soon as one car's ahead into that corner, you've got to pull out, otherwise that's going to happen. maybe Tribe was to blame, but from what I've seen, looked like they're side by side. And unfortunately, the camera angle didn't give me the camera angle to see entirely what happened. I just saw the cars flying side by side, and one car went flying off. But I believe the runoff is quite big out that way. But we'll have to wait for the steward's report for that one. And yet again, another safety car and another injury disrupted safety car, fit sprint race. Sorry. Very annoying to watch. Very annoying for you viewers. But there's not much you can do about it sat here. But yeah, another safety car, and probably not the last incident on this safety car on this sprint race. Dax though is now back in the lead after the top three have made their pit stops, so it's all a little bit caught up. Netsy's decided to go back onto these softs again, so he's looking to make a dash all the way through the field. But yeah, the back five are all on the soft tyres, so they're going to be trying to steam their way through. Everyone else on the mediums apart from Catterson, who is on the soft tyres after making his original pit stop under safety car number 1. Is the safety car coming in this lap? I mean, it should do. They're all bunched up, ready to go. If not, we're going to have 6 laps under the safety car so far, and the safety car isn't coming in, so we've got another lap. So this is thrilling stuff. And yeah, no penalties so far, they've all been served, but yeah, that's just good fun. What's happened to Wizzy? I'm not really sure what happened, but someone's backed up. I've got more people in the pit lane. Netsky's in the pit lane for about the 100th time, and Magsy is also there as well, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on. They're staying out and putting on new soft tyres probably. Yeah, but this is not the most ideal situations. We're going to be halfway through before we get any racing really under our belts. I'm going to go back and show you the championship standings, to be honest. Here we are then. Here's your current team championship standings without the feature race events happening. But yeah, you got AlphaTauri top, Renault second, Alfa Romeo third, Haas in fourth. Williams are going to miss out today, having 2 F2 drivers fill in. Noah Jones and Bowers did a decent job in this feature race, only won them in the points. McLaren also grabbing a couple of points. Unfortunately, Jay Prentice fell out. Racing Point have done a good job, and unfortunately, while this has all been going on, we've got Rappel has picked himself up a penalty. Ryder has picked himself up a penalty for a severe collision under a safety car. Unfortunately, that will mean that will not be going anywhere anytime soon. And yeah, it's just a disappointing start. I say start, majority of this race. Safety car is in this lap though, so we've been given plenty of advance warning this time around. Peter, the F2 driver, will be getting us underway, and if he can stay in first place, I'm sure he'll be very happy with that. With only 6 laps remaining when they cross the line. Time for the Belgian to back up the pack. In the white and blue Williams racing car. As he weaves it around turn 10 and up to turn 11. See if the Belgian can get us underway cleanly. And let's hope, again, fingers crossed, for an actual bit of racing action, because the drivers, again, have just let themselves down, unfortunately. But let's see when Peter will get us underway. And he's got around the corner and he's put a foot to the floor, and he's had a good restart to Williams. So it's the front 4 remain the same. Hex Bent's looking to try and make decent points on his debut sprint race. Currently sat in 4th place. Remember, only the top 8 get points in the sprint race here. Hex looking to go side by side with McGamer. Will he be able to get past the Williams driver? Not this time around, down into turn 4. Sly Guy's already made up a position on Vapor. Wizzy Looking to make up more positions as Tribe gets past as well. That place is just going to close, but Carl gives him plenty of room. Is he going to leave him room on the outside? He does, so he could move from Sly Guy as well. So he's moved forward and taking advantage of those new soft tyres. I'm sure it won't be long till he's on the back of Tribe also. So here comes Sly Guy. Just keeping an eye on the deltas up ahead, but nothing major happening. It's all very close behind as Catterson stays ahead of Wizzy for now. Ooh, little bit slippery there from Tribe. He nearly ended in chaos yet again. But up ahead, we have more moves happening. Isaac Racer takes the inside line to turn 10 and takes the 5th position away from the Ferrari. So Isaac's up to 5th place. We have a little bit of argy-bargy going up here as well. The Williams and the Alfa Romeo getting close. No interlocking here. So the F2 drivers holding their own out the front at the minute. Bit more action, of course. A little bit of fighting going on at the back of the grid. Bit of chopping and changing between Ryder and James Dovey. Eklund putting pressure on Dax. Peter trying to keep his lead of the race. But Eklund currently having more ERS. And also setting the fastest lap too. Looks to the inside. Just trying to maybe put Peter under a bit of pressure. And it's forced him offline a little bit. But I think the Swedish driver just slightly outbroke himself too. We have another yellow flag. Who's gone round? Tribe's round again out of turn 1. And we have Netsky into pit lane again for a new front wing. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Netsky. I'm not sure how many times he's pitted today, but he finds himself amongst the action. But here goes Eklund then for the lead of the sprint race. Darting down the inside to turn 8. Still no DRS on lap 8 of 13. And the move is done quite comfortably. Takes a lot of curb on entry and plenty of room behind. Just as nip in front and take the lead of the sprint race. Good job from Eklund. He's made the most of the ERS. We're doing it with very little ERS. Little burst out of the turn 7. And makes the most of his pace. So a good move from him and he moves up into first place. Hex Spence, the newer driver. Feeling in here. It's close here between the Mercedes of Fetbass and Noah Jones. Is Fetbass going to be able to move down the inside? Noah's saying no. As Vapor Matt has left the session, but he's already out of the race, so no worries there. Oh, it's all kicking off, all very close. Fetbass looking to try and make a move at some point, I'm sure, on the Ferraris ahead of him. But the Ferrari sitting nicely in 6th and 7th, that'll be good for the Constructors' Championship for them. Eklund pulled away a little bit more this time around, so no move will be able to be made. DRS is now enabled though, with 4 laps to go. Silly Sly Guy gets past Fetbass. Fetbass we thought might get past Noah Jones, but Sly Guy is one of the fastest men on the track, has got past Fetbass, the Mercedes driver, and he moves up to 8th position. So he takes the current only point, and you can see how much speed he carries through here on the soft tyres. He'll be looking to make a move maybe on the massive train ahead of him, but it's going to be a big DRS train into turn 8. Things could get messy, I hope they don't. Noah Jones a little bit slippery there. I'm sure Sligo will probably take advantage of this. Noah will have DRS, both burning their 20 odd so %. But no moves are being made. Someone's got to try and break this train. Gamer and Hexbent side by side out of turn 9. But looks like Gamer's still in 3rd place for now. The duel between the Alfa Romeos and the Williams continues all the way through into Sector 3. But no moves being made as of yet. Is Noah looking to make a move on his teammate? And they're sat in a nice position though, are the Ferraris, for points for their team. But Silly Sly Guy took a try and make a move on the inside of turn 11. Try and get a switch back. See what he can do. He's burning. Do you want to make the move before the DRS straight? Going to try and go round the outside of turn 14. He's got a narrow. He's got to have the inside line for turn 15. And that should be another position up for the Renault driver. So great driving from him. And his DRS will help him pull him along behind Noah Jones' teammate. And he's up to 7th place. So only going forward then for Silly. And he's making the most of the soft tyres, unlike the majority of the grid who are still outside the points. But here comes Isaac then. He's got a good run out of turn 2, down to turn 3. He's going to be later on the brakes. He's going to look for the move down the inside. And Hexbent, good drive from him. And we have another Red Bull round, and the Red Bulls are having a terrible time. But it's good driving from Hexbent. Good respect there shown. It's good to actually catch something on the camera where it shows good respect being given, a lot of space. And clean racing from the pair of them. Oh. Apologies for the voice crack. I've been speaking for about 2 hours. Feel free to laugh. Feel free to laugh. It's all kicking off here though. Bowers gets past Sly Guy But Sly Guy returns the favour down the inside. Watching on from Noah Jones' perspective, and the Sly Guy's got past the 2 Ferraris in just as many laps. But we'll come back at him. The Sly Guy will probably have this in his back pocket. With Ryder, the Renault as well, also getting past Fetbass, and behind Rappel and Rainman had a little coming together. We'll jump on board with Rappel, see what's going on. He's going to get overtaken by Catterton as well. Rainman and Rappel got a little bit clumsy there into turn number 11, sorry, and yeah, unfortunately that seemed to be Rappel nearly turning round, and he spun round Carl Catterton this time around, and unfortunately another incident that's got to be looked at. Rappel causing a collision there, unfortunately, and now a penalty for Catterton and James Dovey out of the race again. Sly Guy looking to make his way up. 3 laps to go then. Eklund's pulling away. He's done a good job at the front. But don't discount this man in the yellow car. He's flying his way through the field. He's shown that he's got the pace to get past the majority of the field already. Trying to take all the quickest lines through. He might actually get past the McLaren here of Isaac. But I'll probably guess not, due to the DRS train ahead of him. Isaac goes defensive, but retakes the racing line. Is Rayman close to making a move here? James Dovey's left, unfortunately, so he's gone. Unfortunately for James, that's another no points scored. Isaac races then, side by side with Hex Bence into turn 10. Gets the move done, so that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you get a move done on turn 10. Give each other room, give each other respect. Great camera angle. You see Sly Guy looking to make a move down the inside of Hex Bence. So Hex Bence lost 2 positions in 2 corners, and Silly Sly Guy moving forward yet again in a sprint race, and it's something that you see time and time again from the 14-year-old. McGamon's going to be a sitting duck here. Wouldn't be surprised to see him and Isaac race a buckhorn into turn 1, and I think Sly Guy would be sensible just to let these 2 fight it out as Isaac Racer gets past the Williams, forces the inside line, forces the outside for the Williams, and these 2 want to collide and slow each other down. And look, he's got to take this with open arms. See Sly Guy, as expected, takes 2 positions to 1 corner, and it was inevitable to see that was going to happen. Good patience there from the Renault driver, and he moves up onto the podium positions, and great work here from him. It was obvious to see that was going to happen, and I wouldn't put it past him, closing in 2.5 seconds onto Peter in front of him. Ryder gets past. We have a Ferrari round. Who is that? Noah Jones has gone round after an incident out of turn 6. And he's out of the race. Netsky into the pit lane again. How many times has Netsky been in the pit lane? Is that like a record? CSGB record. That might have to be investigated for one of the record books. But Hex Bence has dropped down to 6th. And Isaac Racer and Sly Guy have made moves forward. Currently in the points are both the Renault drivers, both the Williams drivers, and both the Alfa Romeo drivers. So good points on the board for a couple of teams. The rest are quite distributed throughout. Roderdale putting Bowers under all kinds of pressure as Bowers locks up. But we'll have the exit and the DRS from the car ahead. Look how quickly Sly Guy has closed in on the back though of Peter. He's going to want to try and make a move. He's within a second now, so we have DRS down the next straight. Peter has a little bit more ERS in hand, but Sly Guy's got the faster tyres. We're now on the last lap of the Grand Prix. The last lap of F1's journey and trip to France. And let's see if Sly Guy can get himself back on the podium. His worst finish, remember, so far this season is 3rd place. Simply rapid. But here he comes then into turn 8. The most favoured to overtake a position on the track. And he gets the move done. And he moves up to 2nd position. So a great drive from Sly Guy. And he moves up into 2nd place again. Peter stays in 3rd. So if he stays there, he'll be quite happy with that. Isaac Racer's not close enough to make a move, I don't think, into turn 10. Behind him is a lot of space. So we'll be seeing for 4th place. He's done a penalty. Peter's going to go on the outside of Sly Guy at turn 10. Wow, what a move from Peter. The man, the F2 driver, taken out one of the fastest driving F1, but Sligo's going to fight it back down the inside there, side by side through turn 11, and turn 12 appears, and the Williams is ahead. So fantastic driving from the F2 driver. The Belgian looking to fight it up there with the best drivers in the division, and that's a great move from Peter to fight around the outside, keeping it clean. It's some of the best racing we've seen today. Some of the best driving today, so great respect. But Eklund is going to cross the line and win the France sprint race. Top stuff from him. Peter's going to take second, and he'll have a smile on his face, I'm sure, taking the points off the big guys. And Silly Saigo takes third. Isaac Ray takes fourth, but drops down. And McGamer takes fourth as well. So he will be happy as well. Will the F2 driver as well. So F2 drivers in second and fourth. Hex Bentz takes fifth. Isaac Races dropped down to sixth. Rayman just about jumps into the points in seventh, and so does Vapor Wizzy. Rappel unfortunately out of the points after a little tassel with Rayman. Maxi is in 10th. Fat Bass unfortunately can't get in the points. Rydell can't either after having a good start to the sprint race. Catterton, Tribe, Bowers, Noah Jones and Netsky all out of the points too. Netsky just went from bad to worse for himself. And unfortunately, that is how we finished the race. But there is your final standings. Netsky's going to be the last man to cross the line. He's not had a very good day at the office, but he will feel the pressure now from City Sly Guy, who's taking third place in the sprint race, and I'm pretty sure he'll get driver of the day for his top performance. Matt Snappy was 2 dumps. As you can see, Sly Guy takes the win, and that is an absolutely extraordinary sprint race. It was a terrible start. I mean, the guys need to have a look at themselves and really question where and when to make moves. I know it's a sprint race, I know it's a quicker race, but it still doesn't mean that there's just the same respect's got to be given, and unfortunately it isn't at the minute. But the final half of it was a good race and some good action, especially from Peter standing out with the best overtake of the day for me around the outside of turn 10. But here we are, your final standings. Eklund is first. He wins. He'll be taking out vital points after losing his teammate. Dax takes second. Sly Guy third. And McGamer is in fourth. Hex Bent takes fifth. Isaac Racer sixth. Rainman seventh. Vapor Wizzy takes the final point positions. And everyone else behind finishes outside the points with two. Was it three? Three did not finishes. A double did not finish for all three of the drivers. Dovey, Vapor, Matt and Prentice all not completing a single race tonight here at France. So they will not be happy with that. But that has been it for CSGB Racing F1 action. And here we go with the final standings. There you are for the final time. Thank you for watching. I've been Mr. B-Boy Worm. Tomorrow night we'll have F2 action, same track, same time, 7 o'clock with Bowers and James Devian commentary. But for now, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure, and I'll catch you next week with round 9 at 7 o'clock on Monday. So thanks for watching, and have a good night, guys.